On DC Music Rocks, we're shining a spotlight on the great songs, artists, and incredible people behind the DC region's local music scene. Pleasure Train is a Washington, D.C. area band that incorporates a fusion of styles rooted in groove, alternative, jam, jazz, pop, and house. Pleasure Train has been a staple in the local music scene since the summer of 2014, and the band has enjoyed making their own unique contribution to the soundscape of the greater D.C. area. I first came across these guys when they released their first single, Calabasas, and I used it in my exercise classes. I played it in the car. I jammed it as loud as I could I sang in the shower with it.
That's
like
great.
There's just so much Calabasas in my life. And now they released an EP, and now they're here with me, and God, this is exciting. So thank you guys for being here.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
having
having
us.
Thank you. That's a high compliment because we want to be a party band first and foremost. There's
Yeah.
a lot of ways we can define ourselves, but that's
Excellent.
number one.
You know, being played in the shower is status.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's basically what I had in mind when writing it. Was,
Exactly.
We want people to be able to dance in the
At
shower.
the end of a
too.
hard day, I want you in your shower blasting
There,
Calabasas.
Calabasas. There it is. All right, so now talk about the band and how it came together.
So Richard.
Yeah, I can take that one.
Yeah, you take that one.
So actually, we three of us actually went to high school together, Robinson High School in Fairfax, and funny enough, I mean, really didn't know each other at the time. I mean, through most of high school, but met our other guitar player, Ian Dandridge, towards end of senior year, and started playing music together. He was a big idol of mine from a guitar
Me
standpoint.
too. He's another
That's
one.
amazing.
And I mean, we just kind of took it from there. We all went our separate ways, went to college, and knew when we came back, we wanted to play together. So
That's
They
amazing.
found me off YouTube.
yeah.
Yeah, Valerie was
Excellent.
connected with the wonders of the internet.
Yeah.
That's now. So it all came together. One of you met another one, and then another band member came together, and slowly we became
Yeah.
6.
I was actually the last puzzle piece to fall into place. And shortly before me, our drummer Andrew Gaber fell into place.
Mm-hmm.
So once the rhythm section fell into place, it was kind of that's how our current sound came to be.
Speaking of current sounds, I realize they can't see you, and if they don't know you, to introduce yourselves and say your name and your role in the band, and then the other 3 guys too.
So I'm Will Berger. I play the bass.
Valerie Vega, I'm the vocalist.
Richard Fiegel, 1 of 2 guitars.
And then the
we
other
have
3.
Ian Dandridge, who is the other guitarist, and we have Andrew Gaber, who is our drummer, and we have Michael Paquette, who is our keyboardist.
Wow, so lots of sound from 6 instruments and some vocals. I love that. Now, talk about the name. What is Pleasure Train? Where does that come from?
So me, Ian, and Mike, when we first started the band, would have these nights where we would get really drunk and just jam in this barn. And we were like, we're going to make a band. What is the name going to be? And we were so torn between making it something serious and emotional and creative. And then when we were very drunk, Mike was like, Pleasure Train. And Richard and some others were not for it, but I was like, that's brilliant because it's different and it's fun. I want it to be fun but make good music.
Yeah.
To be honest,
So-
we were looking at it got to the point where we just started looking around and naming things in the room and wondering if that would be a good band name.
But
Cereal
honestly,
boxes.
I think I came around to realize that it's like a brilliant band name because it's evocative and memorable,
Yeah, it's very memorable. People don't forget it.
That's a train you want to get on.
Exactly.
I mean, really.
like our band, evocative and memorable.
There you go. If you take nothing away from this interview, I want you to remember that Pleasure Train is evocative and
Very
memorable.
evocative.
That is awesome.
Great word.
That's
our
the
genre-
ideal
that's
we're
our
reaching
genre.
towards.
Now you guys are local DC. You're from DC.
Yeah, we're from DC pretty much.
5 out of the 6 band members are from the DC area, Virginia side of the DC
Yeah,
area.
Northern Virginia.
I am originally from Pennsylvania,
Got
but made my way down here a couple of years ago, and so
Nice.
came into contact with Ian first, and knew I had to jam with him. I came into contact with him at the open jams.
Like Fats, right?
Yeah, Fats, and then I was like, dude, we have to start a band, and then lo and behold, Pleasure Train needed a bassist, so that's how I kind of fell in with everyone.
That's amazing. And now talk about you guys on the personal side. So you've got this whole music thing that you do, and then outside of the music thing, what's life like for each of you?
We're busy people.
We're very busy.
Yeah, like I'm a nurse, a DJ, and a realtor. So.
Okay, wait a minute. One more time. You're a nurse
Uh-huh.
at a hospital in town. or-
I do home care. To make this part of my life. It's flexible.
Yeah. So home care and then a DJ.
I'm DJ Dial 8, and I played at Old Indian 12 in DC, U Street 930 Back Bar.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm part of the dance group, Dance Collective. So.
Oh, and wait, there were three: nurse,
And
DJ,
a realtor.
and a realtor.
Yeah. Capital
Yeah.
Area Homes. Yeah.
Good gracious.
Valerie doesn't sleep
All right,
much.
fellas, she set the bar high. What about you?
Well, I can't quite get it that high, but
But they're
I-
busy. They do
well, in
stuff.
addition to playing bass in Pleasure Train, I also play bass with Annie Stokes and Apple Juice Jones, which is a Philly-based band of my old buddies. And then I also am an environmental consulting engineer by day to get a little money in my pocket.
Smart man.
Holy smokes! All right, what about you, Richard?
Myself, not as busy as these guys, but I am a loan officer for a local boutique mortgage company, Churchill Mortgage, and that's where I spend most of my day.
Wow,
helping people
All
get
right,
into homes.
doing loans and get into homes.
Ooh,
Love it, man.
nice one.
There we go, your new slogan.
I know, right?
That's
Thanks.
That's amazing.
You heard it first.
You heard it here first. Absolutely. Now, what about funniest moment is the band? What comes to mind?
All right. So we talked about this. It would have to be two separate occasions. One at the Clifton Bar Jam, and then one at our first Not Fade Away, where two separate moments our members of our band had to flee off the stage for bathroom issues.
Emergency.
Wow.
Bathroom emergencies.
Emergency issues.
Could not.
Because it was a
wait.
really long set. No.
No.
Like we have one song, "Filthy Ladder." That's the last
It's
one
on
on
our
our EP.
EP,
It has this
yeah.
really epic long jam out at the end, and it's usually a set closer, and so we like to really hit it and like ride the wave.
We were ready.
And Andrew on drums, he's looking at me like, dude, I can't, and he had to end it like after 2 seconds and just run up.
yeah, it just ends abruptly.
And when he was looking at me, I was like, you can.
You hold it.
Don't you leave.
He couldn't though.
Take
He
one for
couldn't.
the team. No, he couldn't. I was
Pretty
just like,
sure
what
there's video.
happened?
I'm pretty sure there's video of it.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh my God. That's
You held yours, right? You just
I
had
held
to
it.
storm off.
It was getting dangerous, but I made it.
what about where does music enter your lives? What's your background with music, each of you?
I have been songwriting and singing since I was like in 3rd grade. Choir. I mostly did like R&B stuff because I'm a vocalist. I unfortunately don't play instruments, so I would just sing for producers in DC and Maryland. And yeah, that's what I did until I found Pleasure Train.
For me, like a lot of kids around 12 or 13, I fell in love with rock and roll music, and I really liked the bass, so I picked up the bass around then, and started playing in bands all through college and after. And so when I moved down here to take a job, I started attending open jams and just looking for people to play with, and that's how I eventually crossed paths with Ian. And so through that whole scene, I've learned, to find other people to play with, like the other Andy Stokes, for instance. But that's what got me to where I am today.
Wow. What about you, Richard?
For me, I mean, I was a pretty wild child. So my parents wanted me to play some sort of instrument as an outlet, and I mean, I played piano, violin. By the time I got to guitar, my parents were done with it. They're like, we're not paying for any more lessons for this. So I mean, I took that as a challenge.
Wait, did you reject the other instruments?
No,
or you
no.
just didn't like them, or you didn't? What was it?
I played them for years, and I mean, it got to the point where I wasn't practicing anymore, and they kind of gave up on me.
Got it.
But
And so-
guitar, I took that as a challenge. I was like, all right, you're not going to pay for it. Well, shoot, I'll teach myself. And
There it is.
And
Oh man,
that's how that
self-incentive is an amazing
Yeah.
thing. It really is.
they might have known
Wow.
that. Maybe they did it on purpose.
Maybe so. That really could be true. Now, what's something in your music collection that might surprise us, each of you?
Oh man,
A lot of Spanish music.
2 ukuleles and 3 mandolins and 4 cats.
Wait. Actual music that you listen to. though.
Academy
Not
Music
necessarily the
The
instrument.
cats are instrumentation.
Not the physical instrumentation.
And then
has
we're
the
going to come
meow
back
and
to
the
how you
sings.
play a cat, but I...
Oh, there are ways.
Oh my.
Pink
Are we
Floyd
talking
animals.
about actual cats?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, goodness.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, you're talking about
Yeah, like music.
artists we listen
Yeah,
to.
like do you have
Yeah.
Biggie in your collection or like something?
Something people wouldn't expect.
More of a Tupac guy, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Tupac, all right.
Let's see. Surprising. Man,
Surprising.
you go first.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Mark Anthony? Like,
Oh, yeah?
I
Doesn't
listen
surprise me
to.
one
I mean,
bit.
I'm from Puerto Rico, so that's not surprising
I see.
if you know that. But if you
Right.
don't know that, yes, I have a lot of like Cheyenne and Mark Anthony and
Uh-huh.
Spanish songs.
Got it.
So,
Now,
yeah.
does that, and you lean more reggaeton or more traditional salsa merengue?
No,
bachata?
traditional salsa merengue.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the reggaeton. It's good, but no.
Right.
Like that.
All
It's
right.
very redundant.
What about you, Richard?
I'm kind of all over the place, but more recently the Lion King 2 soundtrack.
Oh,
Songs I've been digging
Yes.
on lately.
we jammed very hard the other night. To a
in
Lion
an
King
Uber.
song.
The
To a
guy
Lion-
was
really?
quite surprised, yes.
Our piano player likes
Oh
the
my
Lion
God.
King too.
I do too. Everybody.
More Disney in your life. You
Actually,
need
I
more
was
Disney.
singing Pocahontas today.
Oh,
Paint with the colors of the wind.
yes.
It
Very
just entered my
inspiring.
head for some reason.
Oh my.
That's amazing. And now what about you? You skipped away. Now we're coming back to you.
Yeah, so for me, probably, I don't know, Afrobeat is one of the things that I've been listening to. Fela Kuti.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
love Valerie.
Yeah, I love the repetitive bass lines, just like getting lost in the groove. Repetition is, underrated.
Absolutely. And now I got to put you on the spot because you said you play a cat. Earlier?
Yeah, not in the same sense as you play an instrument. More, the cat is a muse and a tool
An
for
inspiration.
inspiration.
You should see the face he's making right now. He's like, oh, what am I going to say?
You make melodies to the meows.
Oh, I know
There you go.
Make that bass meow.
Oh my.
Oh, this is going such good places fast. I love it. All right. Now, so one of my favorite questions to ask is if you could offer one piece of advice, what would it be for each of you?
Well,
Yeah, you go.
for me, I think that the best advice is very simple advice. If you want to make music, then never stop making music. There's a lot of reasons to get discouraged. There's a lot of reasons to talk yourself out of doing it. But if you like doing it and you want to do it, do it.
And
Don't stop doing it.
Has something in your life happened? Like, do you have a personal example of that?
Well, for me, I guess the example is it's just kind of like something I have always made space for in my life because I feel the need to do it. It's, similar to sleeping. If I don't do it for long enough, I go crazy,
Right.
So,
Okay.
I think it's just, something you're compelled to do.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. What about you, Valerie?
I would tell people that are in the music scene just to try and not let the competitiveness of it all get in toxic or too overbearing in your creativity. We're all in the music scene together, and of course there's venues we all want to achieve, and there's all festivals we all want to achieve. But if you get too competitive with it, it can really get down on your creativity and the whole point of why you're making music in the first place. So I would say look at your fellow musicians as companions and inspiration, and not competition.
And what's a personal example for you of something like that? Is there something that you've been gunning for that you wish could happen faster?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a ton of venues and music festivals that I believe we should be playing, and that, we are we make great music. I love this band. I am the #1 fan and advocate for Pleasure Train. So, yeah, there's definitely venues and stuff that
I always feel like you can be doing more, right?
Yeah, I always feel like we could be doing more, and that we're deserving of it because we've worked so hard. But yeah, I'm a female, so there's always going to be competition and jealousy, Oh no, did I just hurt the feminists?
I was going to say, no, wait a minute.
Well, no,
that's
it's
not a female thing. That's a human being
human
thing.
too. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I'm like the least feminist. I mean, I love females, but oh no, I'm causing.
Oh my God.
But I'm just saying, it's a human feeling to want to be competitive and be like, oh, we deserve that. Well, no, we are all in this together, and we all deserve to make music and just focus on making beautiful music, and that's
what gets
all
you
that
places.
matters.
That's what it comes down to. If you make that good music, that's what opened doors. Yep.
That's right.
I love everyone,
What-
all females. I have to put that up.
What about you, Richard? What do you got?
Personally, what I would say is, don't get caught up in the trends. Play what you know, what you love. Play from the heart. Like they said, you can't go wrong with it if you're playing stuff that means something to you. And with all the stuff that's going around nowadays, it can be tough to stick to your guns and what you really want to play and not what you think people want to hear. So
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
It's almost a paradox because, we love inspiring people with our music, and after you play a show, you love it when people walk up to you and say, "Oh, that was amazing, it inspired me." And so that's one of the reasons we do it, obviously, but also you can't get too caught up in playing what you think people want to hear. You know, sometimes if we're doing songwriting and one of us is like, oh, well, I don't know if people would like that, you know, we got to be like, wait a second,
Doesn't
don't
matter.
do that.
Yeah.
What do we want to do
What do
here?
we
Like,
want to do? Yeah.
what is our vision for this, you know, our holistic vision, you know?
Well, make the best songs you can do, but don't compromise.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And it's really what makes you happy, right? You're doing this. What would be the thing? What can we do that would make this the most fulfilling experience? And if you just keep having the fulfilling experiences, it's going to end up being rewarding. And there's
Exactly.
always more that you can want, but it's true. You got to keep going. Now, for those folks who want to find out, find you guys, follow out more about the amazing. Man, my words today.
My.
Who want to follow you and find out more about you guys? Where do they go?
Well, you can check out our worldwide website at www.pleasuretrainmusic.net.
Yes.
Also our Facebook page, obviously, and we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes,
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah, we're very active
at
on
Pleasure
social
Train
media.
Music.
Got it.
We like posting. Occasionally, we post weird selfies. Occasionally, we post animal pictures.
Yeah.
Right, selfies and animal pictures. The cats that you play at home.
We
like,
have-
sometimes.
We love our cats.